Yeah, hi, good evening to all of you.
Hello.
Hi, Advai. Hi, Sneha. Hi, Ila.
No.
Yeah, I think the same problem with Aditya, like he has got an audio issue. Can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When Hasini is not there, let me ping Hasini, okay? So Anita is not joining today, so okay, fine. So let me share my screen, okay? Not this one. Okay, cool. So you all can see my screen, right, Advai?
Yeah.
Okay, so from today onwards, what I want to do is I want to make you give some hands-on experience. So I want you all to start writing programs. So all these days, right, we have learned some basics actually. So now we will start writing the programs, very simple programs, and then see how it can be used in the real life. Fine. So we'll start with the this one is revision 11. Sorry, revision 11. Yes. So the first one, Sneha, the first question to you.
Okay. How to declare a one-dimensional array variable of type int?
Yeah.
So do I? Okay. So
Yeah, you just
basically, it's
explain.
int. Yeah. Okay. So it's int plus int and the square brackets.
Okay.
And then like name the variable and then make it equal to, and then use curly brackets and then put the values inside.
Correct. So can you type it in the chat?
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. Meanwhile, Advai, second question to you.
Okay. How to initialize the values to the array variable of the type int. So then after writing the like that curly brackets after the equal to that size of that array, we that the curly brackets indicate the size of the array. So then we need to put all the values, int values inside that curly brackets.
Okay, that is one way. Okay.
And the second way is
Yeah.
putting new and then int and then square brackets and then how much value you want.
Okay. What is that value represents?
Uh, that value represent the size.
Represents the size, right? So now you have declared the variable of type array, right? So we
Yeah.
have declared the array variable. So the question is how to initialize the values. So initialize the values. So how will you assign the values? We can take it this way. So now what you said is declaration. So after declaration, how will you assign the values in an array? Like so second,
Yeah. So then
second item.
so, yeah. So then you need to write for the second item. You need to write that variable name in the square bracket and then 1 since all arrays index start with 0, so the second element would be 1, then it's equal to the desired value.
Okay, so the one you said, yeah, you should make use of. Okay, second question. You answer the third one. We'll come to know.
Dash and dash are must to declare an array. uh, s- square brackets and curly bracket.
No, let me say it again. Okay, dash and dash are must to declare an array. So we need to have size, right?
And the data type.
Type. So data type is must, and you have to have the size of, what is the size of your array.
Mm.
Okay, that is also very important. Fine. Next thing. So the yeah, let me check the chat. Yeah, basically, yeah, Sneha has written okay, like, the first question is about the dimension, one dimension array. So declaring the one dimensional array is something like this. I'll just explain it in the, yeah. Okay, you can see this employee object, right, Sneha?
Yeah.
So basically, this is a one dimensional array declaration. That's it. So we are just declaring a variable here of type array and of type employee object. Okay, employee
Okay.
array.
So the size is also like a part of the declaration. Okay.
Yes, must.
Yeah.
That's why,
Right.
that's why, I said here,
Yeah.
dash
Right.
and dash or declare or must to declare an array. So one is this type and the size. Okay, so why do we need size? In this case, right, you see here, in this case, we need not specify the size because we are directly giving the elements. So when you give the elements, it auto calculates the size, actually, size of the array. So that's why we don't need to specify in this case. So the one which you mentioned in the chat, right? This is the one. So this represents, assigning the values already. So assigning and declaration. So this already declares, and then this one is assignment, value assignment. So which contains, number of elements. So number of elements will represent the size of the array. Okay, cool, correct. So now next one, Hasni. Next one to you. Dash is the syntax to find the size of the array. So how will you find the size?
I don't know.
Okay, Ila, how about you? Okay, Aditya. Aditya, you can type in chat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So dash is the syntax to find size of the array. How will you find
No,
the
sir.
size?
I'm able to speak today. I'm at home.
Okay, fine, good. So how do you find the size of the array? So what is the syntax?
Just a moment, sir. Just a moment.
Okay.
Sir, can I write in the chat?
Yeah. You type. So Sneha, you can also type in the chat.
So I send in the chat.
Size of A by.
Aditya, how to find the size of the array? Sneha, how about you?
Use int A.
Yes, Aditya.
Int A function.
No.
Sir, can I say?
Okay. Advay, you are right. I saw it in the chat. How about you, Sneha? How to find the size of the array? Okay.
Yeah, I also forgot.
Yeah. I know. Actually, because you're just watching the videos and listening to me, right? So your mind or your brain will store it in the subconscious mind when you practice. Okay, that's why I always say keep on practicing. So when I show this syntax to you now, right, you realize, oh yeah, this is the one. See, now let me show you. I explained this in the last class.
It is Arrayname.length.
You see here, Sneha, you can see, right? So name is the array that we declared, And you
Yes.
see here, you see this one, the expression in the for loop. This represents the size of the array. So we are iterating the array up to the size of the array. This is single dimension, right? So for single dimension, we will see like, so how many elements are there in the list or in an array, sorry. So for each element, we will just, consider the index either 0 or 1, and then we will iterate through the array one after the other, and then we'll print all the elements here. Okay, so basically, you just need to remember this. So these are all the very important, actually, like, very common thing, very common. Whenever you start using the arrays, right? Dot length is must. Means throughout my career, right? I have been using this dot length. So you'll be, extensively using this. So just, make a note of it somewhere, or, try to practice it. Fine. So we gone through this size, and yeah, Advai, this one I already asked you. So can repeat this one, the fifth one.
Dash is used to retrieve the value in an array. So it is the array name, and then inside we need to write the put the square brackets, and then for indexing the
Index.
value.
Index. You just mentioned the index of an array.
Yeah.
Okay. So assume, okay, this is the array, right? So this is the array. So this is the index. So index means the location. So
Yeah.
what is the location? 2 is at location 0.
At 0.
4 is at location 1.
1.
6 is at location 2.
2.
8 is at location 3. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 are all called as index. Okay, remember this. So whenever you want to call the values of an array, you need an index. Okay, without index, it's very, you won't be able to get the value. So you need to know the index. Okay, so that is what we are doing in this for loop also. So what we are treating this, the I is like an index. So this is like an index, and then I'm taking index of an array should be less than or equal to the length of the array. And then for every index, right? So what I do, index, I'll increment the index by 1, and then I'll print this index here and just use it here. So you need not actually mention, the variable as I only. So you can take any custom variable actually. So like index or your own names or anything. It can be anything. So index is must to access a value. So you see, this is the representation of retrieving the value from an array. So names, and then we are giving index -1. So what is the first iteration, right? First iteration, the value is assigned to 1. So when 1 is assigned to index, then index starts with 0, right? Starts with the value 0. So the value of index is 1 here in the first iteration. So we need to go to the 0th index. So how will you get? Index -1 we will do. And then this is where we get the first value, first element of the array. Okay. And then we will continue up to the max length of the array. So fine. So this is how we'll iterate through the index. Iterate through an array using the index. Okay. Yeah, next one. Sorry. Sneha, next one to you. Dash. Okay. Can a value in an array be overwritten?
No, it can't.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh, okay, right. Okay.
So it's a value. So
yeah.
I'm talking about, like, that's what we did here, right? Somewhere in the bottom. Yeah. Okay, here I think. Yeah, here name is null. Okay, fine. We can see it again later. Yeah. Let me type again. So let's take an example of the same. So I'm trying to retrieve this one, the value of this one. This out. This out. I want to check the value of this, right? So now let's see. I'll run this program. Okay. So we'll see the last print statement. Okay, last print statement. So the last print statement represents Advay 0, right? Now what I do to change the value or to override the value, I'm just giving some dummy string actually. So I gave some value here, and let me print the same after assigning. So I'm assigning a very different value now. So in the first case, the value was different, and in the second case, the value will be updated to the new value that we give. Now let's run this program again. You see here. So the initial value is Advay 0, and we have overwritten it to Sneha 09. So array values can be overwritten. Okay. So next one.
This has to do with the string pool, or is it like, I mean, it's the same like idea.
Yeah. See, this is whatever you declare here, right, within double quotes. So it is a string actually. When it is a string, it will be created in the pool. String
Yeah,
pool.
right.
Okay, now next, yeah. So the last one to you again, Sneha. You try this.
Okay, should I put it in the chat?
Yeah, you can yeah, you can send it in the chat, or if you're comfortable to explain also, okay. Declare. How will you declare a two-dimensional array?
Right. So like, okay, so an int, and then put the square bracket like twice. So
okay.
Open, close, open, close.
Okay.
Then the variable name.
Okay.
Equals to new.
Okay.
Int.
Okay.
And then square bracket.
Correct. Two square brackets.
Two square bracket. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So, and two square brackets must have
like I and J, or is
no.
Okay,
this one.
okay.
This one.
I must have. Oh, okay. It must have the position, the index.
Correct. Size. This one is the length. So means the first, if you are using two square brackets, right? It means like the first one is the row and the second one is the column.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So what about this?
So send in the chat.
What about this? This is a three-dimensional array, right? So sorry. So now what about this?
Four-dimensional.
Four-dimensional array. Like that, you can keep on increasing it. It is actually, depends on our thinking and our visibility, how many dimensions that we can see. So basically, normal human being tendencies, max three-dimensional we can remember. So in IT world, right, we no need to remember, only the rules we need to remember. Okay. So basically, like if you are all facing difficulty in understanding the syntax and all these things, right? So you remember this way. You are learning a new language. New language is like, what you use in day-to-day life, like English and Hindi or Tamil or any other language. So the syntax is nothing but the rules. So we have very minimal rules in the programming languages. So those rules, we are discussing in this class. Okay, in all these last 10 classes, right? 10 to 11 classes, we have been discussing the rules only. How to use how to use and why to use. So you learn all these two things: how to use, why to use. So when you see the real problem, then you should start thinking. I'll explain. I'll give you a real-time scenarios now. Instead of real-time saying, I'll give you the problems. You might be doing a lot of mathematical problems in your school, right? So we can see how to convert or how to automate those problems. Let us see. So yeah, here we actually declare two-dimensional arrays also. So here two-dimensional array. So actually, the pattern goes same. When I say about the string, right, whatever rules that you follow for int, right, applies the same rules for byte, short, string, and then long, double. So all the data type, for all the data types, the rules will be same. When I explain, in this problem, I explain mostly by taking example of int and string, right? So in the bottom, I explained an example of Boolean also, but mostly, right, the rules are same for all the data types. Okay, only the data type would be different. Understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sneha, you have any questions on this part? Boolean, you were asking in the last class, right?
Yeah, I think I clarified it with you last class. Yeah.
You're comfortable, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, good. So now let's go to the slide. Okay, this part also we discussed already. So I just wanted to highlight some basic things that we learned in the last class also. So arrays are like collection of elements. So which we saw in the last class with an example. So so this is like a single variable which stores multiple values. So that's how. And then the first element starts at index 0th index. So 0 and max will be dot length. Okay. Yeah, just give me a second. Just give me a second. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, the first element is at 0th index. So I have mentioned here different ways of assigning the value and declaring the array. So one is square brackets. You can just place it in front of the data type, or you can place it in front of the variable. Okay, and flower brackets you use when you want to assign with values. Okay, and when you are using square brackets to declare the size of the the array, you need to declare the size. What should be the size of your array? Okay, and two-dimensional, it goes like this, int followed by two square brackets like this. And then if you want three-dimensional, you have to give three square brackets. Fine, we understood this part already. So next one, yeah, this part, it is not about reason, it is the. So here we will talk about the file processing. Okay, file processing, we will do like read the file, write to a file. Okay, so we'll discuss about this one. This will take longer time. So before this, I'll go to the problem section. Okay, practice section. From there, we'll come back to this. Okay, so let's go to the practice work. This practice work, will be helpful. So this is the real time. Why I choose this practice work first is file processing is quite huge actually. So you need to know a lot of things. So before that, we will use our knowledge, whatever we learned so far, to automate or create some solutions to an existing problems. So mostly you are all familiar with profit and loss formulas, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think most of you are familiar. So I give the hints also, like, what is the formula for profit, what is the formula for loss, how to calculate the profit percentage and loss percentage. Now write a program. So yeah, I have given 3 simple problems, very simple problems. So I want you to start this, parallelly. So if you have opened your laptop also, maybe how do you want to go? You want to see how do we solve this problem, and then you want to practice later? I suggest, yeah, that would be better. First, try to understand. So can you read out, Sneha, the first problem?
Yeah. An article is bought for 675 rupees and sold for 900 rupees. Find the gain percent.
Okay, the problem statement is very simple, right? So in real life, the scenarios would be like this. So if you get into the banks, right? So when you are in the bank, you need to calculate, like, bank transfers. When you are transferring money from one account to another account, right? You need to consider a lot of things and a lot of aspects. So here, this is a very simple statement, like the seller. So what seller does, he bought one article, or can be anything. So assume that it's a table or chair or anything. So he purchased one chair at a price of 675 and sold at 900. So you can easily figure it out, like what will be the percentage? The profit. So how to calculate profit, Sneha?
Selling price minus cost price.
Selling price. So he purchased at 675 and sold it at 900. So like the how much more he has sold it, right? So how will you calculate 900 minus 675 and profit percentage? So if you want to know how to find the profit percentage, you know the formula here: profit by cost price into 100. So now read out this statement. Sneha, you read out this statement.
Oh, okay. Write the program to solve the below problem statements.
Okay, so now you have to automate. So every time, right? Okay, let's write a program. Okay, then I'll give you more details on this. So I want Advai to suggest me what to write. Okay, Advai, you'll be helping me in writing the program.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so we will try to write this program. So my program, what it should do, it should always find the profit percentage. Okay,
Yes, sir.
my program should always find the profit percentage by accepting the first parameter as the buying price and the second parameter as selling price. Okay, now let's get into the program. This looks interesting. Okay, so here I don't want to merge this part, so I'll create a new controller. Let's create a new controller. So yeah, Advai, you have to tell me how to create a controller.
You need to right click on you need to right click on controller, then go to new, then go to Java class.
Okay, right? So I will make it simple. So I'll just copy paste here. Okay. So here, what I will do, or what
Practice also.
controller. Yeah, Aditya. Yeah, Aditya. Okay. So I'm creating a audit controller. Okay. Or yeah, instead of audit, better way is account. So let's rename this one.
Refactor rename.
Yeah, instead of audit, account controller. Okay. Now I have created this account controller. I will remove the unnecessary contents from this file. Okay. I'll remove this. I'll minimize this part. And then here file operations, right? So here
account operation.
Yeah. Account operations, and then here I'll just mention profit. Okay. So now you tell me.
Yes,
So
sir. So in the parentheses, you need to write at the rate param.
okay.
Then is equal to cost price.
It's not at the rate param. It should be
Request no. Request param, yeah.
request param. And
String.
do you want to take string or
I mean int.
okay, int or will take long, no?
Yeah.
Or you want to double also? Okay.
Yeah.
So for easy calculation, you just make it as long, and
then like buy price, and then add the request param long and sell price.
okay. So not sell. Okay, selling price. Okay, so here I don't want to type in buying price and the selling price
SP.
every time.
You can write parentheses and write name is equal to SP.
Perfect. So Sneha, you are comfortable with this, right? You understood what is this for, right?
Yeah.
Hasni, how about you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
CP.
I'll just mention. Okay, see cost price. Yeah, cost price and selling price. Fine. So now we got cost price and sell price, right? So now what should be my algorithm? So this one I'll take it out. Okay.
Then you can create a variable, then like profit, and then profit then is equal to
Okay. Okay. You try to see the problem. We'll see the problem now. What exactly is the problem? Article. So it says an article is brought. So article is brought means cost price of this article, and this is the selling price, right? So he has already given cost price and selling price. We already know CP and SP are given, right? So now what we should find? What we should find? Gain percentage, right? So gain means what? Profit. Find profit. So how will you find profit? So for finding profit, what you need?
We need the profit variable.
Okay, no, for finding the profit, profit
selling
percentage.
price minus cost price.
Yeah, for find the profit percentage. So this is the second step. So we don't know what is profit percentage, right? So for finding profit percentage, what we need? We need
profit.
Okay. For finding profit, what we need?
We need selling price and cost price.
Okay, implies what?
Selling price minus buy price,
cost price. So now we got the profit. So after getting the profit, what we should do?
Then we need to divide it by cost price.
Now what is the profit percentage formula?
Yeah, so it is profit by cost price into 100.
Yes, so here profit divided by
cost
price of the product, and then here you have to apply the BODMAS rule. BODMAS rule is nothing but the brackets are very important. So first it should be calculated. Okay.
Then into 100.
And then for multiplication we use asterisk here into
100.
So now you got the profit percentage. So this is like your school work only, right? So whenever there is any problem, you'll use these steps for solving the problem, right? So the same thing we have to translate it into the program now. So we have created the function with the profit and then this profit contains the CP and SP as the parameters. Now let us solve one by one. Okay, step one. So it's already given, so we no need to do anything. Next, find the profit percent. So this is the main problem, right? This is the main problem we need to find. So now let's see the third statement. For
Then
finding
we
the
can
profit percentage, we need profit.
profit.
So
So then
this
we
one,
can create a profit variable.
yes. So we need a profit, right? So let us see here. Okay, here what we need, profit, right? Profit will be in which data type?
Long.
Yeah, because we are taking long here, right? So we are taking in long. So let's make it as long. So okay, you tell me how to declare a profit variable.
So then we need to write long,
Okay.
then space, then profit.
Okay, profit is a variable, right? So it starts with small letter profit.
Then space is equal to
Mhm.
then selling price.
Okay, so now I don't want to declare anything. So what I do, I will just initialize some dummy value like this. So long must always have L for a value that you are trying to assign. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is dummy value that we want to assign in the beginning. Okay. So, or you don't want anything, you can just make it as 0 also. It's up to individual decision. Okay. Now if you are comfortable with -1, you can use -1. I'm comfortable with 0L, I can use 0. So L represents the long. Okay, always the long variable you must have L. Okay, remember this. Now, so now we know profit is 0 now. Initially we assumed the profit is 0. Now let's see here. Find the profit. So now we have to find the profit. So how will you find?
So then profit is equal to a selling price.
Yeah, do we know the selling price and cost price here? By this time the code reaches here. We know, right? Because the request parameters have both of the variables. So what we do here?
Selling price.
So is this what we have to do?
No, that is just that name is equal to CP and SP. That is just for shortening the name
Parameter.
Yeah.
Right. So what we should use then?
Then we need to use selling price and buy price.
Selling price, and then we will use buy price. Okay. Perfect. So instead of buy, shall I change it to cost price? Then that will be more appropriate. So cost price, and then copy it. Now by this time, what do you know?
Profit.
So here, every time you just try to see what exactly is happening. Okay. So here, default value of the profit. So default value is, I'm printing this. So next, it's out, give the calculated profit. So the calculated profit is how much? Plus profit. Okay, this is how you declare. Now next one, what you have to do, you have to calculate the profit percentage, right?
Yeah. So then we can create another long.
Profit
so you profit 2 times.
Okay, yeah. Now, so now we know the profit here, right? So we'll write this one first. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we have to do? Profit divided by
cost price.
And then
inside the bracket
you have to solve this one first. So this one will become double, right? The value will be double, and then it becomes
into 100.
So when you use these brackets, right? So whatever
expression that whatever inside should be calculated
first. Okay. And after that, once it calculates, then it should be multiplied by 100.
100.
Okay, this is the formula. Now, can you tell me why it is showing red color?
Because it does not understand what to do with it.
Yeah, because it's just a statement. It doesn't know. So what we need to do?
We need to
Introduce.
introduce a variable.
Local variable. Okay, local variable. What it should be? The local variable.
Profit percent.
I'll just mention profit percentage. Okay. This one is also okay. Profit percentage. Now we know the profit percentage, so we'll print it. The final percentage of an item with cost price. With cost price, CP, sorry, cost price
And
and
with the
Selling.
selling price.
selling price. So here you can mention whenever you have plus, right? If it is exceeding this line, right side line, you can actually move it in the next line.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also possible for strings. Okay, this is only for strings. When you have appender using plus operator. With selling price plus is. So now
Is profit percent.
plus profit percentage, and percentage is represented in what?
A percentage.
I will use percentage symbol here. So whatever the value here, and then that value will be appended with percentage symbol. Okay. Now
We
what is
need to
this
have
doing?
a return
Exactly. You see here, it is missing the return statement. So what we do? Return, and whole this part is there, right? What I will do, I will control X. I'll add it here, and I'll create a variable, temporary variable. Okay. So this is response.
Then
And
system.out printed in response.
correct, perfect. And we are going to return
response.
Okay, good. So we are done actually. So we have done one-time coding only. So we did not, redid any of the work. So first time we coded. Let's see our program will run or not. Okay, that should be your confidence. You have to do this way. So first time, you'll be committing a lot of mistakes, like selling price, it is already small case here. Sometimes what happens is you accidentally put capital S. So I know you may be you may not be seeing this red color. So you will say like it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. So yeah, we need to commit those mistakes and then try to see what exactly is the problem. You see here, if you mouse over on it, it will say cannot resolve symbol. So then you should start adapting to this. Okay, what does it mean? So it says, these are suggestions actually. It says create a field selling price in account controller. So we don't need to create any new variable, right? So means this one is not resolved, means it should be spelled wrongly or used wrongly. So it should be the small case here. So you have to identify and then fix it. Okay, now let's run this program. Okay, yeah, math service application, and then I'm going to start. Okay, I will start in debug mode. Okay, so I'll not use any debug points. Now we calculated the profit percentage, and then we are sending it as a response. Okay, now let's yeah, it's still running. Okay, the application is started. Now let's start the browser and see.
server.
Yeah, so
It's local host.
okay, 809.8090, and let's see the class level mapping. So the class level mapping is account operations, right?
Yeah.
So we'll use this account operations. So this one is duplicated. Okay, account operations, and then function level
Profit.
mapping. Yeah, function level mapping is profit,
And then
okay,
question
and
mark.
then parameters now. So parameter should have
Question mark.
question mark.
Then no, not cost price.
Okay,
It's CP.
CP.
Since we give name is equal to CP, that's why it should be CP.
perfect. Okay, now CP
And then
and SP.
yeah,
For selling price, SP, right? So I gave SP. Then
ampersand.
okay, ampersand. Then
Then after CP they should be equal, and also after SP.
right. So the query parameters always should follow the pattern. Name is equal to
Value pair.
value, ampersand, name is equal to value. Okay, this should be the normal pattern for any query parameter. So in our case, the name is CP.
CP.
Okay, and another query parameter
SP.
is SP. So you give the value. So what is the value that we gave here? 675 is the cost price. So 675. Then 900 here. So 900. So now we did only one time coding, right? We did not redo the work. So let's see if our program works or not. Our program is not working.
Yeah.
Right? Is it working or not?
No.
No.
It is not working. It is working up to here, but the output is
0%.
0%. 0% is something you have to identify
Fix.
why it is. Yeah, you have to fix it. Exactly. Fix is the right word. Now let's see. Now let's see how we do it in real life. I put the debug point here. Okay. Sorry. So first time coding failed. Now let's see. I'm running this program and then I came here. Now let's see. So I'll go to the next line. So line by line execution, we use the debug, okay, debugger. So now I'll go to the next line and you see what is the value of the profit here at this place. At this place, it is 0, right? So now selling price is 900 and cost price is 675, means the values are coming properly up to here. Cost price is coming properly and selling price are also coming properly here at this location.
Yeah.
So now what I should do, you can right click and evaluate expression. Okay, use evaluate expression. What we need to do, we need to see selling price minus cost price. You can actually run evaluate at this place actually to see what would be the output. So what is the selling price at this place? 900 and 675. 900 minus 675 is 225. Okay, now when you run this, the profit should be 225. Now let's go to the next line. So what is the value of profit now? 225.
Yeah.
The profit is 225. So now let's see here, system.out.println, go to the next line. So if you want to see, you just have to go to console here in the left side. You see console, right? Go here. Okay, not this place. Yeah, here. You all can see, right?
Yeah.
Here you see the calculated profit. The calculated profit. Oh, what happened? Oh, yeah, we are not in the debug. The calculated profit, it is at this place, right? So the value of profit is 225. Okay, now let's go back to the debugger actually, debugger. Okay, now we'll go to the next line. 225 divided by 675, right? So now let's see. 225 divided by 675. So the profit percentage is 0 here in this case. So which is wrong, right?
Yeah.
So now let's see. Profit divided by cost price. See here, profit divided by cost price, it is giving
0.
0 because cost price is 225, right?
Yeah.
225 divided by cost 675. So
We
let me
should have
open that
not put the brackets.
no. We will see like yeah. So what is here? Profit divided by CP, right? So profit is 225 divided by 675. So this is actually 675 means 0.000 something, right? It goes into decimal value like 0.
Oh, since it was long, so that's why never.
Right, correct. So there is something problem here actually. So what we do is, instead of we are taking it as profit, what we do is we will
Narrow cast.
Yes. No. Yeah, profit is long, right? So it's not narrow cost. So what we need to do is we will declare the variables. Okay, we'll convert this into a variable. Okay, now let's see. Okay, let's go to the evaluate expression here. So you just have to try something like this. Okay, double B1 is equal to 225. Okay, .0 T, and then double B2 is equal to 625.
675.
Okay, 675.0 B. Now B1 divided by B2 is what we want to find it out. So this is double B3. You see now? The value, what we are trying to do is, okay, I'll just explain it here.
So it's very less.
So when you are taking long, right? So it will take the integer part of the values only.
It will take everything before that point.
Okay, example is, so like assume that you get 0.01, right? So when it is converted to long, the value of it will be 0 only. Okay. Now when you type 0.0056 something, some value like this, right? Still it considers as 0. So basically what we need to do is, the percentage will be in decimal parts, right? So what we have to do is, we got the cost price in the long, right? So we will have to change it to double. So what we do is, profit is okay. Profit is like, we are not considering the decimal parts, right? So cost price and assume that, cost price and selling price will always be in a integer or long format. We need it only for this one, right? So calculating the percentage. So what we do here is, here we will break it actually. The profit is there, right? So here what it is, you can use double or float. Okay, float. Let's double. Actually, we saw it here, right? Let's see the float. Okay, float. So profit float is equal to Okay, now cost price. Okay, let's take cost price here. Cost price also we want to use CP float. Now here we will use these variables, okay? And then for this CP float I will use. Okay, now the value of this would be float, right? This one, the value of this one would still be float, right? So here also we have to use float. Okay, when we use float, then use the percentage. Yeah, fine. So now the program is updated. Second iteration. We have done the second iteration of the program. Okay, we have to commit the mistake and then we have to learn. So now you understood, like, you know, long, when the cost price and selling price is in the long format, the profit percentage will always result in the zero or, you know, the numeric values only mostly. So the integer value of the decimal number. Okay, now we'll stop it
And
rerun it in debug mode again. Let us see if again, you know, any other issue comes here. So now profit percentage we haven't declared anywhere, so profit percentage here it should be okay. So cost price, yeah, here you can use, you know, CP. If you want to use CP float, it's okay. Okay, now the application is started. Let's go to our browser. Now I'm going to start it again, refresh, enter. So there is a debug point here. And then now first iteration, I want to see, proceed further and then see whether any issue here. I proceeded further. I directly go to the program and see. So somewhat okay, right? Expected value only, somewhat expected value only, right? So yes, our program is somewhat works, means it's not 100% correct. It's not 100% correct because there are boundary conditions that you need to add. What do you mean by boundary conditions? Now, boundary condition is nothing but I sold it at 600. Hey, what happened? Yeah. You see? Oh yeah, is it going? Sorry, my mistake. I'll disable the breakpoints. Okay, yeah. Here I want to explain one more thing. Suppose you don't want to, you know, use the breakpoints, right? What you can do is you can mute the breakpoints, mute or disable. Mute it, proceed further, just, you know, moves on. Now you see minus 11.
yeah.
It shows minus 11. I'm not sure whether minus 11 is correct or not. So, but this, you know, when it is minus, it should not be profit here, right?
Should be loss.
Should be loss. So we can say, like, you know, we can change the text that is displayed, or, you know, these are all boundary
Yeah, we
conditions.
can add an if statement.
Yeah, if I don't, you know, I give this, if I give this, then it is minus 100% because these are all boundary conditions, right? So now I give cost price as minus 400. Now you see cost price be minus 400? Not at
No.
all, right? Not at all, right? You have to fix the code.
Yeah,
Not
we
to
need to
allow the
add
user.
certain if statement.
Yeah, some validations. Some validations means you should not, your program should not allow the user to
Oh, so
enter
that's
the
what it means
negative.
for boundary condition.
Yes, you see here, I'll just write the statement here. Add the required validations of matching boundary conditions. Okay, boundary conditions is nothing but, you know, extreme values or unknown values or minimum values, if you are passing to this program, how your program is behaving. Okay, so you have to see the boundary conditions are nothing but extreme values or minimum values or unknown values. So if you add those things, then how your program will react, you have to find it out. So for that we need boundary values. Like there could be chances that user will be entering, like, because I want to break your program. Being a hacker, what I will do, I'll write my name here in place of this. So it says, like, it gives some message, right? Then I'll come to know here, being a hacker, right? Hacker will come to know, okay, failed to convert the value string, required type is long. You see, it is giving me, server is giving me more information to the hacker. Assume that if I'm the hacker or someone, right, then I'll come to know lot of information about my endpoint, like
Details.
yeah, details, lot of details about the endpoint. So means, you see here, I came to know now, like cannot convert the string value, so the program will not accept the string value for CP. Okay, and it should be of type long, and it is throwing null pointer number format exception. So all these matches, right, you have to place it here. Okay,
Try catch.
yeah. So you try catch, usually, right, this message is actually thrown at architecture level, like the framework level. The Spring Boot is handling that because you have given long here. So if you have to change it to string,
Then the whole code will change.
yeah, the whole code will change. Okay, so now when you change it, these are all the values that you need to validations. Okay, validate cost price, and then it will take cost price. Okay, now another function you have to write, validate selling price is one more function. So this function will take selling price. So what these functions must do, they will have to provide proper validations. Okay, now let's see. Create a method. So I want to create a method in this controller. So instead of creating in this controller, I'll give you some real-time example. So I'll create a class here
In
in the
utils you can
service.
add.
In the service itself, I will create a class. So this class will contain only the validations. Okay, account validation service. So account validation service, and then I'm going to create this class here. Okay, this one again we have to give the documentation. This class is for taking the, or is for applying the validations on the input data. Okay, and here it goes author. I just mentioned I pass more here.
It says author GK1. What is author GK?
Yeah. Okay, so this one is my name, right? So the GK Monet is my system configured name. You see here. So you see this place. What is my home directory name?
Oh.
So this directory name will auto come here actually. So instead of this, I just mentioned my own name also, like here. And then we see what this is a validation cost type, right? So this is a real-time program that you have to write this way. This is void, and then this is the function name validation cost price, and it will take string cost price. And yeah, here you have to check if, so add your conditions here. If cost price is equal to null. If it is null, throw new exception. So in this exception, what I do, I will give my custom messages. Okay, empty value for cost price is not allowed, and then I'll give semicolon. Okay, so now when you're throwing an exception, it is saying unhandled exception, right? So instead of this, what I do, it is a checked exception, right?
Yeah.
It is, you can see underline and red color line, right? So what I do, instead of this, what I do is I'll convert it to runtime exception. So during runtime, it throws an exception, not at compile time. So I no need to add it here. Okay, now this is one validation. So this validation is null check validation. Okay, similarly, if it is not null, right? So not null validation should be here. Not null validations. So not null validations means you have to check whether it is a floating point number. So what you can do, float CP is equal to float dot, okay, parse float. So parse float is nothing. This is one of the function available in the float class. Okay, so what this function does, you can click on this and see what it does actually. If you have documentation, yeah, here it is not available here. So basically what it does is the value that we are passing as cost price, right? It will convert the string format of any number. String format means like this, right? 3.01, something like this. Okay, this is string format. So the string format of this will be changed to float actually. So in this case, it will throw an exception. Click on this, it will throw number format exception. If you find anything like this, I'm giving some name, junk name here, right? So if I give some junk characters or special characters, anything at this variable, my program should throw an error. So what I do, I come here and then it throws an exception here, right? So it is throwing a runtime exception here. That's okay when it throws a runtime exception, or you can handle it also. So how you can handle?
Try catch.
Yes. So now let's try. Okay. So what exception it is throwing?
Yeah, if it is a string.
It is throwing number format exception, right?
Yeah.
So you have to give number format exception, and then here you just have to throw again new exception. Okay. What new exception you want to throw? The value. Okay, or I can throw cost price
Is invalid.
Yeah, correct. Cost price contains invalid or decimal number, and this is what printed to the user. Okay, now after this we want to return this value. So how will you return? Here I will do, yeah, so let's make it as, change it to float, and then if everything is fine here, right? So what I will do,
So you can make static also. That will make everything new.
what is that away?
You can add public static float.
Yeah, you can add it also. Public static means you have to use this class name dot this one.
Yeah, it will be easy then.
Okay, yeah. So public static float. Now this one will return the float actually. So CP is done. So similarly, I'll just apply the same rules for SP also. Okay, because both are decimal numbers, right? So I'll apply. So here you have to add this part. Okay, don't forget this one. Okay, don't forget to add this. So I'll just keep it empty now. So here this is, yeah, I want to change at multiple places here, right? What I do, how I should change all of
Shift
it.
F6.
Correct, perfect. So what I do here, shift and then selling price. So it even changes in the comment also, you see, documentation comment. So all places it change. Now, yeah, this one also I want to change. I'll use shift F6 again, SP, and then I'll return SP. So here, yeah, it entered here and then it entered here. So it always returns me the float. So there is no error here, right? Done. So now this one is done. CP is done. So here we got these two, right? So here what I will do is CP float is there, right? This one I will take it out. I will copy this one. I will comment it out. And I got CP value in float here. Okay. So here it is still showing red color. Why?
Because we need to write the class name.
Correct. Account validation service dot. So now we got this one declared. Now selling price, right? Where is selling price? Selling price, selling price. Okay, selling price is not here. So what we do, selling price also we will add a variable here. So instead I will just copy the whole part here. And then here instead of this, I'll just make it as SP. Now selling price we got. And then selling price will be this one. And CB float is this one. Okay, profit is okay. Selling price is okay. And then this profit has
So
to
we
be,
need to change the data type.
yes. So profit 0.0 D. Okay, this is float, right? Float is F. So you just have to give 0.0 F. And then here comes cost price is also float, and then SP is also float.
So instead of dummy value, you can write default value.
Yeah, here, right? Okay, correct. Default value. Now profit is also float. Now here also it will print the value, and here we don't need to have this because profit is already a float, right? Profit is already a float. So here you can actually, make use of this one. You can reduce these two lines actually. Reduce these two lines and directly use this one here. Float profit. Okay. Now this profit you copy, paste it here, and then done. So profit percentage is already calculated here. Done. So I'm stopping the service, save it, and then run the service. So these two are validations. Okay. So whenever you receive inputs, you have to first validate. Okay. And then the validation should throw a proper message like this. When it is empty, it should throw this. Whenever it is, yeah, one more thing. Yeah, correct. It's okay. Anyways, we got the value here. Yeah, it is started. Now let's see here. Now I'm just running this one. So now you see, what is the error message we received here?
The cost price contain an invalid decimal number.
Correct. The cost price contains an invalid. See, the cost price contains an invalid decimal number. So here we missed out one more thing. Here also it is cost price, it says. So we'll use selling price contains invalid decimal number. Okay, sorry, not here. Yeah, here. Selling price, and then this one is selling price. Okay.
So you could have done Shift F6 also.
Control Shift F10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it started anyways. So now you see the cost price contains invalid decimal number. So this one is not the decimal number, right? So what I do, I will remove it empty. I'll keep it empty, and then I'll just enter. So it is empty. When it is empty, contains invalid. Okay. It's updating, and then it still says contains invalid decimal number. You know why? Because of this one. Yeah. Required false. You just have to include this one. Then it goes to the other condition. So it's not mandatory. Then in that case, it goes to that. So you're seeing, right? You know, in real life, we do the same process actually. So this gives you some kind of information, like, you know, how we actually write programs in day-to-day life. So I want you all to practice, you know, in the same way, so that you'll be having enough
Sir,
knowledge when you actually start your code.
Sir, can the service also run out of like any other server except Tomcat server?
Yeah, you have Jetty also. You can use Jetty plugins to start. You can have Tomcat. Usually, you know, Tomcat is sufficient actually.
Azure also it can.
Yeah, microservice, right? Microservice means, you know, only this service is used only for account related information.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually, you know, debug this function actually if you want line by line execution and see where exactly it goes, right? You can use this. Okay, yeah, and then selling price, right? So we'll see the selling price also. Here I'll give cost price as 200 and then selling price as empty. Then it says the selling price contains invalid decimal number. Okay, so it is not yeah, here. So if I type any characters, it still says invalid decimal number. So what I should do, I should give 900. Then it gives me the percentage actually, you know,
So the
selling
cost
price.
price was 675.
Yeah, you want to see that? Okay, 675, and then this one is 900. Then see, 33.33 is the percentage of gain. So the final profit percentage is 33.33. So this is how we do the problems. Okay, real-time problems. So this is the endpoint which calculates only the profit by taking the boundary conditions also. Okay, some of the boundary conditions we have added actually. Okay, this way we do day-to-day activities. So now I want you all to implement these two programs also, like, you know, on selling a table for $987, Robin loses 6%. So using the profit and loss formulas, find out the price at which he purchased it. So it's like, you know, you have to get the cost price, right? So you need to find the cost price. And then Ryan brought a calculator for $720 and sold it at a loss of 6%. Find how much did he sell it. So here you need to find the selling price. So this is a normal mathematical problems. You can convert it to the programmatical way like this. Okay. So please practice these two problems. You'll come to know, I'm sure that you'll come to know a lot of issues and try to resolve it. If you're not, you just, you know, post it on WhatsApp. Okay, I'll help you out. So any questions? Sneha, Aditya, Hasini?
Yeah, we didn't account for if the selling price or cost price is negative, right? So can we try that maybe like on our own?
Exactly. So yeah, perfect. So where is our, yeah, okay, here. Now I'll interchange this. 700. So it still shows negative because we didn't handle it, right? So that handling you can still, you know, add it here. So cost price and selling price, you individually validated it, right? So now okay, this is a good point. Let me add it here. Okay. So what I do, let me add validate CP versus SP. So both things. You see, business cases are increasing based on our requirement. Now we got this value, right? So let's create this. So I'll just copy paste this function. Good point, Sneha. So now let's see here, we got this value. I'm going to create the function with the same name that we have given in the controller. And here it goes. Yeah, here it should be CP float and SP float. Okay, now let's go here. It should be float SP. Yeah. Okay, you can make it a CP SP, and then here we don't see anything. Okay, we'll just remove the whole part. This one is also not needed. This one, yeah, Control Shift and L. So here, cost price less than or equal to. So instead, if it is cost price is greater than, so here you can say cost price should always be greater than, sorry, should always be less than, right? Less than selling price, as we are calculating the
Perfect.
yeah. Yes. Okay, yeah, this is quite good. And then, you know, we don't use this float here. That's why we no need to return anything. Okay, we no need to return anything, which is just the validation. So whenever there is a mismatch between, you know, CP and SP, we just want to throw some exception like this. Fine. And then controller, we need this part. So it is a void type, right? Void means we no need to assign it to any variable here. We don't need to assign it to any variable. We just declare the variable, and within this, sorry, declare the function, and within that function, it just, you know, does some processing. That's it. It doesn't do anything other than processing. Okay, now we did this. Stop and then start. So that's a very good point, Sneha. Yeah, like, you know, when you go for you know, when you become the business analyst, right? So this is the creative part, you know, the business analyst will do. So validations, you know, what kind of requirements that user is having, what is the boundary conditions, what your program must do. So what is, you know, what it should not allow, what it should allow. So all those things you need to capture in the document, and one by one you have to validate it like this, you know, in your program. Fine, our application is started. Let's go to the program. Yeah, now the same result should not appear. Okay, I refresh it. You see, cost price should always be less than selling price, as we are calculating the profit percentage. You understood, right? So,
Yeah.
so basically, you know, whenever you want to, you are writing some other program, some other controller, and you want to check this, right? So you can handle the exception, number format exception, or, you know, runtime exception, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here I need to say explain. Remind me. Okay. Remind me. I need to explain global exception handling.
So you will explain the enumerator next class.
Yeah. Correct. So I have noted it down. So along with that, you know, I need to explain this global exception handling in Spring Boot. So this is a microservice, right? So here we are throwing some exceptions, whereas we actually, you know, handle exceptions automatically. We no need to, you know, the application may throw exceptions from anywhere. So from anywhere it will throw. We need to handle it. Okay, that handling part is the global. Okay, so we write it at one place for all types of exceptions, and then the Spring Boot will handle it from there. Okay, that we will check. Okay, this one, and then enum class. And what was the other thing? I noted it somewhere. Yeah, I'll have it. Okay, fine. So thank you, Sneha. I mean, this helped one scenario as well. So one of the boundary conditions like this, we can keep on adding. So keep on adding.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
until-
like, I think also if you wrote like the cost price and the selling price as like a negative number, then also you need to handle that, right?
Perfect. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you are right. Perfectly right. So that's why, we can, yeah, correct. Yeah, this one you can add it actually here here.
But also, since like I guess this is also the program that we need to write is also accounting for loss, right? So then instead of saying if the cost price is greater than the selling price, like you could handle it like in a different way, I guess. Like maybe if you wrote like the percent, okay, wait, the like profit percentage, if it's a negative value,
Yeah,
then
perfect. That is one way of seeing the things.
right.
So that's why there are, for any problem in computers, right? We have multiple ways actually, multiple solutions. So we just have to see which one best suits our requirements, and then implement the one. Okay, so yeah, this is what you are telling, right? So cost price should always be correct. Actually, your thought process is perfectly right.
So for this validate CP versus SP, I have another way. It came in my mind.
Yes, Advay.
For the CP versus SP function, I have another way of solving it.
Yeah, so you write it and send it to me. Okay,
Yeah.
so one point is, you see, I wrote my program in this way. Sneha may have other thought process. Okay, now she said one of the wonderful thing, like I don't use this one here. Go here and then you can comment out this part. Her thought process is like here anyways the profit percentage is giving negative, right? Or this profit is negative, right? Here itself we'll add a validation, right? This is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Profit less than 0. Yeah, something. Okay, where will it go? Less than 0.0, something like this. So it is negative number. Profit less than 0, it is negative value, and here itself we can throw exception, not allowed, something like that. Something like this. So this is like multiple ways of solving a problem. Okay, so this is where your creative thinking must start actually. So I gave a very simple basic use case. So now you see, within this almost 1.5 hours, you can see like how many lines of code we have written. 60 in this account controller and 70 around in this standard. So almost 140 lines of code we did in both these programs. So slowly every day by day you have
So
to start.
130.
Yeah, around more or less. Okay, here I'll just comment out this part. And do you need this program? You need this program? I'll send it. Hasni?
So I think you forgot to change the document comments in the account controller.
Oh, right. Yeah, here, right? This part, this one, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, basically, I already explained this documentation comments, right? So I actually think that you when you write your programs, you start using it. Okay. So we have very shorter time. That's why I keep on doing some programs faster. Okay. Fine. So I want you all to practice. Sneha, anyways, you try to find some time and then practice. Hasni, if you want my help to resolve your issue, right? So you just let me know. We'll fix one time. So do you want it to solve tomorrow?
So
Yeah. Tomorrow, okay, right?
yeah, okay.
Okay, we'll fix your time. Okay, it has been pending for a long time, so we'll fix your issue. And are there any questions from your side?
No.
Aditya, for you? I think Aditya, okay, moved away. So Ila is fine, Shakti is fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, see you in the next class. Okay. So anything you just let post it on WhatsApp. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Sneha, Hasni,
Thank you, sir.
Advai, Ila,
Thank you.
Shakti.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.